Hey you guys, welcome back to the Secret Garden Homestead. If you're new here with us, my name is Christina and me and my family homestead on a little over an acre in Northern California, Zone 9B. Today, I'm really excited. We just got through a really cold spell here. I think our nightly lows were about 35 degrees, 34 degrees at its lowest. But I'm looking at the 10-day forecast and I'm seeing that nightly temps are rising up into the high 40s. And typically in the month of March, we don't get those really low temps. And so now is the perfect time to take all the frost cloth off of our mangoes and avocados. And so our mangoes and avocados have been covered for quite some time now. I've been giving them sun here or there by taking it off during the day occasionally, but for the most part, they've been covered. So I thought it would be really fun to pull the frost cloth off each of our avocados and mangoes today and kind of see what the avocados look like, because I think this is the last time they're going to be on for the season. And this is kind of like an unboxing, but it's an unwrapping of all of our tropical fruit trees here at our homestead. Okay, so here's a quick look of our orchard right now at the end of February. We have a lot of weeds in here, but I am letting my chickens go so that they can eat down those weeds and fertilize the orchard at the same time. So everything that is covered in this green frost cloth is a tropical tree. So the two here are avocados. These two here are also avocados. And then in the back I have a mango. And then on the left side of the orchard I also have two mangoes. So that's what we're going to be uncovering today to see the damage that the cold did here in California Zone 9. For perspective, I think a season or two ago we had planted two little avocados that we got from a local nursery here at the homestead. I believe it was a Lamb Haas and a Fuerte, and the tag said that they could withstand temperatures as low as 28 degrees Fahrenheit, but what I didn't realize was that hardiness temp was actually when the tree is mature. And so as a newbie tropical enthusiast, I planted them and I thought they were going to be fine over the winter because we really don't ever get below 30 like ever here in California. And last February we got a cold frost similar to what we got this year, but I think it reached like 30 degrees and those trees just died. They did not make it through. So I learned my lesson. We replanted and invested in these mango trees, and we decided we're going to try our best to cover them and keep them super protected over the winter. And so we're just hoping that these trees made it through that frost spell that we had last week, and that they can just now make it into spring and grow. And I think I probably have another year or two of covering these trees until they're probably hardy enough to be protected, at least our really big ones. Okay, so right here we have our Pinkerton Avocado. I bought it again from a local nursery. I've heard great things about these trees. I've heard they're very cold hardy, but it's a small tree, so it got protected for the majority of our winter season. So I'm going to take our frost cloth off and see what happened. Okay, so a couple things that I did to protect this tree. It looks like parts of it died off just because it was so cold, but it is budding and it does look like parts of it mated. It actually looks pretty good. One thing that I did to make sure that this tree stayed protected was I bought this root protection. I think this is traditionally used for like palm trees here in California, but I thought protecting the roots was gonna give it the best shot of not dying at the root. When my trees last season died, they died at the root, and then an avocado tree did grow back, but I think that was from the graft tree. And so I really wanted to make sure that I protected the roots mostly, not just the top of the tree. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim this tree a little bit of the dead branches and hopefully let it thrive. Okay, the next tree in our lineup again is a really small tree that I bought from our local nursery here in Northern California, and it is the Sur-Prize avocado. Again, it's small. It's supposed to be pretty cold tolerant, but because it's its first year in the ground and it's pretty small, I want to see how it fared. Ooh. Okay, this one looks worse than the other one that we did. The whole top is pretty much dead, but it has new growth all around the sides coming through. So I think that's a good sign that it's still alive. I also do see green. You'll notice that if your avocado is dying, it's going to turn black and very brittle. I think the reason this happened, when you're going to use a frost cloth, you probably want to put like stakes in the ground and not have the frost cloth touch the actual tree. We just didn't have time for that or bandwidth for that. So we did the best that we could, but this side of the tree looks great. So I think there's hope for this tree too. Okay, so the third tree that I have in my avocado lineup is a bacon, and it's really, really large because I bought it that way. I thought I was going to invest in 4 avocado trees. I'll get 2 that are small in case they don't make it, and 2 that are bigger. For us, we go through Plant Express. They have been amazing for us, and the trees that they've given us have done pretty well. So I absolutely love that company. But this is a bacon from them. And if you don't have a bacon avocado tree, you know, I don't know much about the fruit that comes off of it, but I do know that it doesn't hold on the tree all that well. But it ripens at a different time than most of my other trees, closer to like December. And I've heard the fruit is pretty good. So I'm excited about this tree, and I'm hopeful that it made it. I think that it did because it's so large. This might actually be the last year I have to cover this tree, but we'll see. Wow. Okay. This tree looks amazing. I think there's a little bit at the top that looks a little worse for wear that maybe snapped off. But overall, this tree is looking so good. It's putting on new leaves, and it's even putting on the flowers for this year, which is amazing. The next step I'm gonna have for this tree is to paint it, because not only do we get like enough frost during the winter to kind of kill off these sorts of tropical trees, but we also get enough direct sun on these trees that they're going to have to be protected for summer. And you can kind of see the white that I painted on it last year, but it's definitely going to need a fresh coat of paint for this upcoming year. Okay, and the last avocado variety that I have is a Hass avocado. When I looked online and was looking at varieties to purchase, Hass was actually at like the bottom of my list. Even though these are like the traditional fruits that you buy at the grocery store, the Hass avocado, they're actually really hard to grow here in California. They're not super frost tolerant, and I think when I uncover this, you're gonna see that this tree does not look healthy. I bought this tree from Plants Express, and it came looking absolutely beautiful, but it hasn't really thrived in my zone, but I think that it's still alive, and I'm hoping that this season it just thrives, but we'll have to see. Okay, so from what I can tell, the leaves just look kind of bent back and not like propped up. I don't know if that's traditional of a Hass avocado, but this tree just generally looks naked to me, and it didn't come this way. I treated this tree the same as I treated our bacon avocado and all our other trees that just look more green and lush. So I think that this variety is just really struggles here. But I do see that it has new buds that it's trying to put on, and possibly some flowers. So maybe this spring it will actually leaf out and give itself a new canopy. This tree is definitely up for debate. I'm not sure it's going to make it here in our orchard, but we're going to give it its best shot so that we can see if we can save it so that it can grow here. Okay, so now I'm over here at the first of our mango trees. We ended up buying last year 3 mango trees from Bee's Nursery based out of Sacramento. I think that's the company's name. It has like a big bee logo, and they do very large tropical fruit that they deliver to you. So that's what we ended up doing. So this tree right here is a ice cream mango, and we got a really good harvest off of it the first year that they gave it to us. we decided, based off their recommendations, not to plant the trees in the ground, to leave them in the containers that they came into. And what we're just gonna do is bury those containers because they're made out of wood, and then over time, possibly the roots will spread out and the tree can grow that way. We didn't want to disturb the tree all that much. But the question is, did the tree make it through the winter? This one I think is actually up for debate. Let me uncover it and show you what I've seen throughout the season. Okay, so this is our ice cream mango. It actually is still pretty green and a lot of it's barked over, which is really good. But the leaves are super brittle and dry. Let me show you this. I don't exactly know what caused that, but I think it's a mixture of a couple things. I wasn't doing a great job of watering the tree when it was covered. And right now the soil is really wet because I let it rain on the tree and then I covered it. But ultimately I just think that this tree is hanging on by a thread and we're gonna really have to watch it come the spring and summer months. There are a ton of dead branches that I'm gonna have to cut off here, and I'm just praying that the tree is able to put on a new fresh canopy and maybe even give us another similar amazing harvest. Okay, and now I'm at the left of my orchard, and these are my two very large mango trees. Again, they're in these really big containers, and I tried my best to cover them over the winter. And we're planning on doing the same thing, putting them in the ground, in the container, and then the roots can maybe spread out over time. But we don't want to disturb it. We want the best shot of these not getting shocked and making it. So out of recommendation from Bees Nursery in Sacramento, they said to cover these trees for at least 2 to 3 years to get them acclimated to our California winters. And then maybe there's a chance of not covering them in the future. I think it really depends on what our winter is looking like. This year, our winter was surprisingly mild. I don't think we got a single frost, anything close to 32 degrees. I think our lowest was like 34, 35 degrees, which was amazing. So in years like that, a couple years from now, we probably wouldn't cover these trees and just try and get them as acclimated to the cold as possible so we don't have to baby them as much, while also balancing trying to protect them because they were a pretty big investment for us. So this variety is the Kesar Mango, I believe. I haven't gotten any fruit off of it, but I'm hoping that it still looks okay. Okay, there was really no easy way for me to do this, but the tree actually looks pretty good. It's still really green. I'm not seeing a ton of like dead branches, and there's still time because we just went through that really cold spell for the tree to kind of be in shock and still kind of put off dead branches, but for the most part it looks really good. And even all the way at the top you can kind of see that there is a flower forming. So actually right here, I don't know if that's gonna make it or not because it was probably touching the frost, but overall this tree looks pretty good. It may not give us fruit this year because it did go through that cold spell. It wasn't inside a greenhouse, but it made it, I think, and I think that is a win for us here on the homestead as we try to get these trees acclimated to their new space. Okay, last but not least, same as the others, these came in this Manila mango came in a pot. It's a wooden pot from Bees Nursery. We're gonna put that in the ground. And so this tree actually went through a lot of stress when our heat waves came in and it dropped a lot of leaves. Even though I watered it, I think I need to do, I think I am gonna have to chalk it and maybe baby it a little bit more because that is when it endured the most stress. And then now it's going in the opposite direction. So I don't know how this fared all that well, but this tree is a little more naked than when it came. When it came, it looked beautiful. It had a full canopy. And then as we went through the hot spells of the summer and the cold, it's kind of lost a lot of its canopy. So I'm hoping this spring is kind to it and it is able to grow a lot more leaves. Okay, so here's the Manila mango. It, like I said, it looks really naked to me. When it came, it was big and lush and beautiful, and it really took a beating this year. But I do see new growth on it. I don't know if this will survive because of the cold, but as long as it can put on some new growth starting now, our temperatures in the forecast look fantastic, and I just anticipate mild weather through March and April. And so if that holds true based on historical weather patterns, then I think that this tree has a shot of putting on some new growth. Again, I'm gonna baby this tree and I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna chalk paint it probably April or May and try and get it through the summer a little bit better. You can kind of see like this whole branch died. And there's little parts that have died here and there, so I'm gonna have to go through and cut all those off later. But for the most part, this tree has barked over, so I think it was really protected. And I'm really excited. I think we have all 7 of our trees surviving the winter, which is a big deal for us. All right, you guys, that's all I really have for the unboxing or the uncovering of our mangoes and avocados from the winter season. I hope that if you're growing tropicals, yours also made it through the season without too much babying. I know it's so hard. I hope they're actually healthier than mine. And if you are used to growing tropicals in a California climate, please comment below if you have any tips on better ways to protect these mangoes or avocados through the winter or the summer. I'd love to know, because it is taking a lot of time for us to figure out how to get these to maintain themselves here at our homestead. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.